Welcome to another edition of Ferrum Wrestling. I'm Gary Holden. This is head coach Nate Yetzer. Nate, you guys went up to the Washington League Invitational last weekend.
Yep.
Finished fourth as a team. Tell me a little bit about some of your highlights.
Well, yeah, I think as a team as a whole, we did a great job. Competed really hard, and I think everybody won at least one match. And we had 3 4th-place finishers and a champion in Darius. Keeps getting better and better every week.
Darius is he's won 2 tournaments now this year. He's your first wrestler to win a tournament. He won the Southern Virginia Open back in December, placed 4th at the Pembroke tournament, and then won this tournament. What are your thoughts going forward as we move into the Division III ranks? Is he someone that's going to be able to compete for a national championship?
Yeah, I think down the road it all depends on his off season, what kind of off season he puts through. And he expressed interest in wrestling, freestyle and continuing to get better. And I think he's the type of guy who he definitely be one of the guys to be our first All-American and national champ. I think he's definitely going that route. So we got a number of other guys who are that want to be that first guy as well. So
yeah, that's good to have. 149 pounds. Paul Biggs had a great tournament for you. He went 4-2 at the tournament. Opened up with a win. Had a loss, then came back and won 3 straight coming through the back bracket, and then lost in the consolation finals. Talk a little bit about how he did.
Well, he lost the same guy twice. The guy just gave kind of a style mismatch a little bit. But I think next time if we wrestle that guy, which we probably will, Washington League kid, or see a lot probably, we'll approach the match a little different. I'm not so much worried about strategy right now. I just want our guys to go out and compete really hard. We're not at that point yet where we can, we should watch video and strategize how we're going to attack each guy. And right now we're just worried about getting better every day, and not worried about who we wrestle, but worried about ourselves getting better.
Okay, that is nice that in your new wrestling room you have a big television set for for video, so you can do that in the room and everything. That's great. 140. So Paul was one of your 3 4th-place finishers. 157. Tyler Edgar back this semester, and Tyler moved up a weight class from 149 to 157. He won a match in the tournament. Tell me a little bit about his performance.
Well, I think Tyler, I think it was good for him to move up. I was against it, but he moved up and he had a little more success. He won his first college match, and the first one is usually the hardest. It took him a while to get to that first one. But but he did a good job, and I think. Tyler skill-wise, Tyler's as good as anybody on our team. I mean, you watch him drill, he's really, really good, technically. I think I just got to believe in himself a little more and go out and execute.
How about at 165 pounds? We didn't have a wrestler in that weight class, but your next weight class up, 174. You had Tim Whitehurst, and you had a new wrestler just join the team this semester, Eddie Isherwood. Tell me a little bit about how they did.
But Tim, I'll start with Tim. Tim, he's a 65-pounder. He bumped up for this tournament, and I'm more concerned with guys getting better this year, not worried about their weight. So Tim struggled a little bit. He did a good job in the first match. The kid was beating him pretty good. Beating him by 7 or 8 points. And Tim just stayed on the guy and kept on him. Same thing we preach every time. And he ended up getting the guy extremely tired and ended up getting the fall. And then for some reason in cross bracket, and he dropped down after his loss.
I noticed that he wrestled the same wrestler pretty quickly afterwards.
So and then he just the kid caught him and stuck him. So Tim, I think he realizes he's a 65-pounder. If he wants to have any kind of success, he's got to go 65.
Go to his weight class.
Right, absolutely. Okay. And Eddie, I think Eddie did a great job for his first college match, or his first college match at Ferrum. I think he did a good job. He competed really hard. I think he went 1-2, and got beat, got stuck a few times with, just kind of went upper body at the kids that were better in that position than he was. So I think once he figures out what he's good at and figure out his style, he'll have a lot more success.
Is that his weight class naturally?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Next weight class that you had a wrestler was 285. You had a couple wrestlers in there. Only one of them was able to count for scoring towards the team score and everything. The wrestler that counted towards the scoring was DeAndre Johnson. He won his first match 8-3. Then got beat in the semifinals pretty close.
Pretty close, yeah. In fact, it was a 4-point move, a 4-point swing that killed him. In a matter of 5 seconds, he was winning, and then got reversed and put to his back, and at heavyweight, that's a hard thing. When you're down by 3 or 4, it's hard to come back. So.
Yeah, and once you go to heavyweight on top of you and you're on your back, that's a tall order to get off your back right there. So he came back through the back brackets, and ended up facing one of his own teammates, Alan Chappelle, football player here at Ferrum, came out for wrestling as well, and got pinned there. Tell me a little bit about Alan so far and his performance this year.
You know, Alan, to be honest, I don't know much about Alan as far as his wrestling background, but I do know that he's really big, he's really athletic, and you have those two things, and you're willing to work hard, put in the time, you can be pretty good. So I think Alan's got a pretty bright future ahead of him. He's just got to continue to keep getting better and get in wrestling shape.
Sure. Good to have that anchor up top in your last
one.
I'm
pretty confident. I'm pretty confident in those two guys. We got another heavyweight on the team, and we got a couple other guys coming in next year, heavyweight. So I think heavyweight is a weight we got pretty solidified for the next couple of years.
You know, talking about the weight classes now, as I understand it, a lot of colleges will choose a weight class out of a hat if one or both coaches want to do that, so that you're not always starting with the lightweights and going up to heavyweights. So sometimes you might start at 141 pounds, wrap around, and your 125 pounder and 133 pounder are the ones with the pressure on them instead of always the heavyweight. So what's your thoughts on that? Are you in favor of that?
Well, I think it just comes down to who you're wrestling. There is some strategy to it because sometimes you want to be able to play at the lineup maybe later on in the dual meet. So it just kind of depends on the dual meet and who you're wrestling, and if it works out that way. If one coach wants to do it, then you have to do it. So in my experience, it's about half and half.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Talking about dual meets, the Virginia Duels was this past weekend. They have both two college divisions, an upper national division, which has most of the D1 schools. And then it has an American division, which has the D2s, D3s, junior colleges, clubs, things like that. As I understand it, Ferrum has been invited to participate next year in Hampton.
Yep. I think it's an important event for us to go to, just for recruiting. For one, we like to do a lot of recruiting out there, and I just think it's a great event. I loved it when I was at Virginia Tech. Hats off to Virginia Tech too for winning it. I think the first Virginia team ever to win it in 33 years. So hats off to Dresser, Roby, and Hoffman, and Moore. All they did a great job, and they have a great team this year. So, but the goal is to go there and win. And I think we'll be in the division where I think we can compete next year right away. As far as we're not going to be in the Division I division obviously, but we'll be in the I believe it's the American division. Yeah. So we'll be competing against other Division II and Division III teams. So. And
while you're there, you'll be able to see a lot of the high school, the best high school kids in the state. Most of the top. AAA top team was there. The AA top team was there. A lot of the AAA top teams were there. They have 3 divisions with high school. My son's high school program was there. He wrestled out there the whole weekend. And the next mat over was the Tech match. Next mat over there was the Central Michigan match. The kids got a chance to see.
It'll be a big weekend for Franklin County.
So we'll be pretty excited to see both Ferrum and Franklin County out there. So. Nate, let's talk a little bit about your open house. You're having an open house on Friday, February 1st here at the college, 4 p.m. Tell me a little bit about what's going on there.
Well, we're gonna have some speakers. Dr. Brott will be here speaking. Our athletic director Abe Naff will be here speaking, and hopefully I get to say a few words, and you too, Gary. And it would just kind of it's an invitation. It's an open invitation to anybody that wants to come and to help help showcase Ferrum Wrestling. Show off our new building and just get people here and get the program noticed. I think we'll have a lot of media here. You probably know more about that than I do, but hopefully bump it up and get our name out there. So it'll help with recruiting. It'll help with just notoriety and all that stuff. So
this is over in the Hank Norton Fieldhouse, not to be confused with the Hank Norton Center that we're in right now.
Right.
The Hank Norton Fieldhouse. Used to be the football offices, football locker rooms, the old athletic training room, and now you have the former football locker room is your wrestling practice facility. Offices are upstairs, a big meeting room where we'll be having the open house function. Downstairs, the wrestling team has a locker room. There's some storage facilities down there, so people will be able to walk through the building.
Absolutely, we'll get a tour. We'll have food there.